Jay-Z and his high-profile lawyers feel like they can get away with anything. Well, the judge just completely laid down the law and put them in their place. Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signor, and I have an update for you regarding Jay-Z and his lawsuit with the Jane Doe. And my goodness, the lawyer just slammed him. I mean, the lawyer seems furious. You got to understand, this lawyer, Alex Spiro, is insanely expensive and has been putting a full court press out to cause doubt. And honestly, I think they did a pretty damn good job at doing so. It even made me wonder what's going on. It made me have questions for Tony. And honestly, all things can still be true that both these lawyers are lying and suck. But at the end of the day, they were trying to just have this case thrown out immediately because it didn't happen. And here's all the evidence, yada, yada, from this NBC News interview, which clearly Alex, I assume, had something to do with in outing this Jane Doe. But all of it, the judge wasn't having it. The judge was furious. We have the full order here. Let's go through it. On top of, not only was the judge very upset and giving a very stern warning to Jay-Z's very expensive, high-profile lawyers, Alex Spiro, they also agreed that, yes, Jane Doe can remain anonymous for now. Now, that could change. They did make a point in saying this could change, but let's go through this filing just so you can understand all that happened. All right, so going through as we get to the sort of, they basically start with the anonymity, talking about the motion to proceed anonymously. Here are all the sort of the non-exhaustive list of factors to be considered. As you can see here, 1 through, 10 of them. Here he says 1, 2, 4, and 7 weigh strongly in favor of anonymity. What are those? So let's go through. Whether the litigation involves matters that are highly sensitive and of personal nature, whether identification poses a risk of retaliatory physical or mental harm to the party seeking to proceed anonymously, or even more critically, to innocent non-parties. Then we have 4 and 7. These are the ones he particularly, whether the plaintiff is particularly vulnerable to the possible harms of disclosure, particularly in light of ages. And then number 7 here, whether the plaintiff's identity has thus far been kept confidential. Those are the ones that he said, yes, clearly those are all valid and should remain the same. But several factors weigh against the anonymity, and it goes in and sort of explain the fact that they've now sort of given media attention surrounding the case. The public has a substantial interest in this litigation, separate apart from its general interest in the accused, being able to publicly confront an accuser, etc. Nevertheless, at this exceedingly early stage in the case, the factors counseling against disclosure outweigh those of the counsel in favor of saying who the name is. So for now, they're saying, yes, we're going to keep it anonymous. Now, accordingly, plaintiff's motion to proceed anonymously is granted, but it's advised that because the balance of these factors will certainly shift in the case proceeds, especially if and when the parties engage in discovery in earnest, the court intends to revisit the decision in a future date. So saying at a certain point later, that could change, but for now, it's still moving forward, and yes, you can remain anonymously. Now, this is where things get more interesting, and I want to read it.
The case involving allegations that Jay-Z's lawyer bribed a judge has garnered significant attention due to the seriousness of the accusations and the contentious nature of the events. Let's delve into the details to understand what has transpired and why this situation has become such a prominent topic in the media.
In this case, 17 days ago, he has submitted a litany of letters and motions attempting to impugn the character of plaintiff's lawyer, Tony Busby, many of them expounding on the purported urgency of this case. Self-promoting, accused him of extortion, request to be heard on an expedited basis, accusing plaintiff's counsel of exploiting the legal process to generate media attention, asserting that plaintiff's counsel seeks only to benefit himself, requesting the shortening of a deadline from 21 days to 1 day, describing plaintiff's counsel as willing to blatantly violate the core ethical obligations of all attorneys, and requesting a hearing on a motion the following day. This is now, again, remember, this is the judge writing. Carter's lawyer's relentless filing of combative motions containing inflammatory language and ad hominem attacks is inappropriate. It's a waste of judicial resources and a tactic unlikely to benefit his client. Ouch. The court will not fast track the judicial process merely because counsel demands it. I mean, thank you. Thank you. Alex's attempts out there are aggressive, and I think from the press release standpoint and the facts and all those things, it asks questions. But my gosh, the self-importance, right, of this Jay-Z and his team, they're above the law, is insane. The entitlement is off the charts. Let's continue. Moreover, although Carter's attorney assails plaintiff's lawyer as having a chronic inability to follow the rules, Carter's counsel has failed to abide by this court's clear rules. Under the court's individual practice of civil courts, with limited exception, a pre-motion letter is required prior to the filing of any motion. Although Carter's attorney stated that he intended to file immediately a motion to strike the first amended complaint, he did not give plaintiff the requisite 5 business days to respond. Wait for the court to set a motion schedule or state whether any exceptions to the court's individual practices applied. This is unacceptable. Counsel is hereby advised that any further motions filed in violation of the court's individual practices may be denied on that ground alone. So now he's basically saying, you've now run out of excuses. Enough. Done. Stop with these crazy PR motions, etc., that you're putting out there, because I'm not even going to read it. It's going to, if you don't follow the actual rules and stop saying Busby's not following the rules. Turns out Spyro is not following the rules. And if he continues to do so, whatever that motion is will just be rejected because he's not following the rules, regardless of what the motion is. That's a huge warning from the judge to shape up or else. Lastly, although Carter's attorney is entitled to file a Rule 11 motion without first seeking leave of court, the court discourages this approach. If he still intends to serve plaintiff with a motion for sanctions, the court denies his request to shorten the safe harbor provision contained within Rule 11 from 21 days to 1. Carter's motion to strike the amended complaint is denied. By January 10th, plaintiff shall file her response to Carter's motion for an order directing the preservation of evidence. By January 17th, Carter shall file his reply. Court clerk is respectfully directed to terminate the motions, blah, 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 blah. So ordered. So all of it thrown out. Everything Alex Spyro said it was going to happen. It's going to get thrown out. Where it didn't happen. I think I still have, do I have he was here. It was, I lost my button. Where's my button? Here it is.
The story unfolds with the judge publicly rebuking Jay-Z's attorney, Alex Spyro, for using inflammatory language and employing questionable tactics. Judge Annalisa Torres, who is presiding over the case, described Spyro's conduct as a misuse of judicial resources and voiced disappointment in his approach.
Somebody would be allowed to do this. They would make a mockery of the system like this. He's upset that this distracts and dissuades real victims from coming forward. He's upset that his kids and his family have to deal with this. He's upset, and he should be upset.
Will Mr. Carter say anything more specifically about Mr. Combs? He didn't really address him in his statement, but anything since outlets and internet speculation have tried to affiliate the two of them, he didn't really, in his statement, specifically say anything about any of the allegations.
I mean, Mr. Carter has nothing to do with Mr. Combs' case or Mr. Combs. They knew each other professionally for a number of years, just like in all professions. People know each other. At the music awards, they support each other. If you go to the NBA All-Star game, they support each other. That's just how professions work. There is no closer association between any of them. That's also a matter of fiction. That's all that there is. He doesn't know anything about the charges or allegations against him. He has nothing to do with that.
Criticism emerged from a high-profile lawsuit in which an anonymous woman, identified as Jane Doe, accused Jay-Z and Sean Diddy Combs of sexually assaulting her when she was only 13 years old. The alleged incident is said to have occurred following the MTV Video Music Awards in 2000. Both Jay-Z and Diddy have vehemently denied these allegations.
So the biggest story around the world seems to be Jay-Z being attacked in the elevator by Beyonce's sister Solange. It's leading on all the newscasts. Of course, it's a hot topic here, but it's amazing how the world has let go of everything else important and is talking about this. She is kicking his behind. And the security guard's trying to hold her back. Beyonce's next to Jay-Z in the corner. And I know you've seen this footage before, and you know that Beyonce waited a long time before she stepped in between them. Yes, she almost kicked him in his area, but he caught it. This was at, as you might know by now, the after party to the Met Gala. It was at a place here in Manhattan called the Standard Hotel. The hotel is upset because the footage even got out, because this is supposed to be a place that caters to celebrities. But who falls for that? You know, of course, this footage probably made somebody rich. The only thing that would make somebody richer is the person who's got the audio. Okay, so now, you know, I will just say that the people have been speculating and saying, well, why didn't Beyonce get in the middle? In my mind, Beyonce didn't get in the middle because Solange was probably attacking him over something that he knows he was dead wrong about, and therefore, sister didn't get in the middle. And a lot of people are also saying, well, Jay-Z really held his head because, you know, real men don't hit girls, except there's some footage online of Jay-Z hitting a female fan back in the day. Allegedly. The legal team is up there going crazy with the alleged button. The video, everyone, is 3 minutes and 27 seconds. So if you'd like to see the whole video, you can do that on your time. But the bodyguard to Beyonce stopped the elevator in the middle of you know, going down. They were exiting the party, so they were on their way out to the paparazzi to get in the car and stuff. So stopped the elevator, and the fight went on. And I guess the security guard, by not just... Look, Beyonce and the security guard were standing there like this is nothing new between Solange and Jay-Z. You know, it didn't look like something new. I mean, otherwise, wouldn't you have jumped in the way and stopped it if you were Beyonce? If this was something new, she just stood there in a very delicate dress. I mean, if she did much more, a boob would pop out because, you know, she was wearing that very revealing dress. All right, so here's what I have. Solange's purse. You know, you see there at one point, by the way, at one point, I think I even see Solange spitting on him. You know what I mean? Solange's purse right there is a 1.1 pound Anna Heinmark metal bag. So it could have definitely done some damage if she connected with his face. In addition, people are saying that inside of this after party to the Met, that Solange got into some sort of argument with...
Adding to the controversy, Sean Diddy Combs is already entangled in multiple legal battles, facing lawsuits alleging sexual assault and trafficking. These cases, spearheaded by prominent Texas attorney Tony Busby, claim that victims were drugged and abused at parties across New York, California, and Florida. Busby represents over 150 individuals, both men and women, in lawsuits against Combs. While these allegations are grave, Combs' legal team has dismissed them as baseless publicity stunts, accusing Busby of leveraging the cases to coerce celebrities into settlements.
Now, Rachel Roy used to be an intern at The Rock or whatever, back in the day. And that is when, look, I'm sorry, I gotta say something when I get in the purple chair, so I'm talking. Now look. Back in the day, those offices were Dame Dash and Jay-Z. This is going back to my radio days, you all. Come on, rock with me. There were pretty girls and models walking all around there, posing as interns and secretaries. And it's also was known, I'll say alleged, for the legal team, that Dame and Jay-Z would pass girls around up there. Rachel, were you one of those girls? Come here, Suzanne. I want to give you an example of why it might have been that Solange came out of her face at Rachel in the party in front of other people. Because Jay probably did some stupid slick man mess walking with his wife like this. Oh, how I'm doing? No, but you know what I mean? Like, do you understand what I'm saying? Like, I can't figure out how it is that Beyonce did not get involved with this unless something happened to that party that Beyonce knows that Solange was right and Solange is just sick and tired of it. And she probably went over to his face during the party and said something slick like, you know what? You're not going to do this with my sister right here. You're not going to do this with my sister right here, right? And then the three of them left the party, and as soon as the elevator door closed, there's 3 minutes and 27 seconds of beatdown. You know, and then Dame Dash went on and married Rachel. So therefore, you know, when Rockefeller, whatever split up, Jay-Z's parting shot could have probably been something like, and I had your wife. Listen, this is a disgusting business. That's all I'm going to say. This business is so disgusting that I can't. And people were accusing, you know, saying, well, maybe Solange was drunk and therefore went out. But when we show her walking out of the place, she doesn't look drunk. Roll that footage. She doesn't, let's just watch this together, okay? There's the security guard. She doesn't look drunk. She's not teetering on her heels. Her hair is laid. Shout out to her hairstylist. Now watch this, watch. He's not allowed to get in the car, and Beyonce gives a smile and gets in the car with her sister. Now, you can ride with whatever theory that you have about this, but I'm sticking with the Wendy theory. I'm sorry. By the way, everybody needs a sister or cousin or something like that in a Solange. So, Solange, good for you and good for your earlobes too, girl. You have both earrings. You still look put together. But you don't mess with Solange when it comes to Beyonce. You know that, or when it comes to her mom. The word on the street has always been that when Matthew came home with the mistress and pregnant with the little half-brother Nixon, that Solange took it to her father too. You just don't mess with Solange. And I'm trying to think of what in the hell a sister is getting in the way of her married sister.
Amid this legal storm, Jay-Z's attorney, Alex Spiro, who has only recently begun representing him, has taken an aggressive approach to the case. Spiro has demanded that Jane Doe's identity be revealed, casting doubt on the credibility of her allegations. He highlighted what he described as significant inconsistencies in her statements, including an interview where the plaintiff acknowledged making mistakes. Despite this, Jane Doe has remained firm in standing by the core of her allegations.
In real time, did you know anything about the tension between Dipset and Jay?
Yeah, you're kidding? I was refereeing it. I was refereeing it. I was trying to keep everybody cool. So I'd tell Jay, like, yo, why you keep fucking with him? He's young. Like, what's the problem? So Jay would be, all right, cool. And then go on the radio and say, yeah, Cam is a good earner. And then Cam would be like, why you got to call me an earner? You know what I'm saying? I don't know why he called you an earner. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't get it. So
Crazy.
I don't know why Jay always had a thing with Cam. He always had a thing like that. He had a thing with everybody, bro. Pause.
And that issue to Izzo beat was supposed to be Cam's, right?
I didn't know that was the case, because I know, I remember, I don't remember that, but maybe. I don't see Kanye. Kanye wasn't just giving shit, like the beats that Cam got, like, oh boy, he took that shit. It wasn't like it was given to him. It was just like, oh, this is here, I'm taking this. And I wasn't even mad at it, because it was acting funny. I produced Kanye's first record that was on the radio. We Are the Champions on my album, The Dream Team. So I produced that with Kanye. And the reason why he got that beat was because I gave it the sample to Just Blaze to flip, and he disrespected me and just ignoring me. And Kanye was like, I'll do it. And then when he did it, I said, because you did it, jump on it. Paul. And then Cam jumped on it, and fucking Beanie. It was dope. I think young Chris.
What was the deal with Kanye? Like, why wasn't anybody supporting him as a rapper outside of you?
Because he, we looked at him, like, I never looked at Kanye as a rapper. And Kanye always looked at himself, which is not a bad thing, but, he always thought he was bigger than everyone else thought he was until he got there. So no one really took him serious as a rapper. And again, I took him serious as someone that can do an album, make beats, and at least everybody from Rockefeller could jump on the album. So you're going to get Jay, you're going to get Cam, all of that. Everyone he made a beat for should do a record for him. But I never looked at him as a rapper. And then when he started rapping, after he broke his jaw, that's when it was like, damn, he's the best producer that could rap. Like how Dre could rap. Like, you don't look at Dr. Dre as a rapper, you look at him as a producer. Me knowing.
And a lot of people at that time felt the same way. Honestly, if you know, you know. But a lot of people didn't want to give Kanye no chance because they felt the same way Dame felt. Until Kanye West had to prove himself. So, and Kanye West has always been one of my top artists. So I can attest to a lot of that he's saying. Just knowing the history.
Kanye, it'll be like Just Blaze starting to rap. I knew them first as producers. It's really hard for me to unsee people the way I first saw them.
Facts.
That's why I like certain people, no matter what they do, how much money they make, I still see them as that same person, and that could be the default.
First
But
impression.
it's hard to like.
The judge, however, ruled that Jane Doe could remain anonymous for the time being, though she may be required to reveal her identity later in the legal process. Spiro's aggressive legal tactics have raised concerns in the courtroom, prompting Judge Torres to issue a stern warning about his conduct. This included filing multiple motions that attack the character of the plaintiff's attorney, Tony Busby, further escalating tensions in an already contentious case.
Like, if you look at the movie, the reason why he was like, the contracts took so long is because Jay would not sign off on them. So that was the problem. But again, if I were to tell Kanye, yo, Jay won't sign off on your, then he would have like jumped off the, he would have took it too hard. So I could never really say when, it was always me like having to be like, make excuses because things had to move slower because we always had to wait for Homeboy to give his one signature because he always knew that Biggs was going to rock out with me. So he just would torture us to get done if it wasn't about him. Now his budgets, they got signed off on very fast. And to be honest, there was a time like I had took Kanye's chain off his neck because he was driving me nuts. So when that had happened, he was already like, I had dropped Kanye from Rockefeller. I dropped Kanye. So at that point, I was done with them. I was ready to go do my own thing. I gave people out of respect the opportunity, like, yo, there's Dame Dash, I forgot what the name of the records, Dash Records or whatever. So I was like, y'all can go over there if they won't with you. But like, really, I'm done with this music. Like, I was done. I was burnt out. Everybody was corny to me. Everybody was weird to me. Everybody was manipulative and exploitive. And it just smelled like bad breath. And it still does. Like you walk into a room and you just I just got sick of smelling hot paws, bad stink demon breath.
Crazy.
I didn't want to smell that no more. I didn't want to be around it. I was done. Like I was done, man. I just done it for 15 years. So I didn't want to do that shit no more. I wanted to do fashion.
The industry is
So how did I
crazy.
feel? I didn't feel, I wasn't even thinking about it. I just was like, let me go get this Rachel Roy off the ground and turn that into $100 million company, which I did, that nobody talks about.
What made you take his chain?
Because two things. Beans was getting ready. We thought he was going to go to jail for a couple of years. He was on trial. So I was trying to make 4 albums for him, or 5, so that if he went to jail, because every time if you sold 500,000 records, I could give you $1 million advance. So if I already have 5 albums that each went gold, while he was in jail, I could always make sure he had 500 grand. So I was just trying to get it all done.
Tough. That's what's
and Kanye wouldn't give him any beats. That was one reason. And the other reason why is I had spent like $500,000 to $600,000 with Rockware's money developing his line Pastel. I still got the samples. And all of a sudden he was like, I don't like him no more. And he was just starting to Kanye out. And that was it. I was done. So I was like, man, you got to get out. I was tight.
Kanye out.
So I had the chain, you know what I mean? And people, my inner crew talks about that. Like, damn, you dropped Kanye. I'm like, I don't give a
Spiro's specific accusations that Tony Busby had a chronic inability to adhere to legal rules were met with a sharp rebuke from Judge Torres. The judge described Spiro's behavior as inappropriate, a waste of judicial resources, and unlikely to serve his client's best interests. She firmly stated that the court would not expedite the judicial process simply because one party insisted on it, underscoring the need for professionalism and adherence to legal protocols.
She's light years more talented than her sister. She is great.
Were you shaking the table with that? You saying Solange is more talented than Beyonce?
Absolutely.
Oh, you shaking the table with that?
Baby, it's you. You're the one I love. You're the one I need. That's Solange. Solange would be a superstar too if she got to keep all the superstar records that her sister took.
Oh.
You ever think about that? Beyond Solange catalog, no different than her husband raped state property. You know, I guess it's the family way. Steal a record, evict a nigga. You know, that's the kind of shit.
Now, I will say this. I read that Solange was actually supposed to be in Destiny's Child, but she didn't want to be, allegedly.
Well, truth is, I could see why she wouldn't have wanted to spare her sister that embarrassment. Solange, never friends. We have mutual acquaintances. I used to have a different opinion of her when we were younger. I thought she was a Ray J.
Okay.
And then I saw her at the studio working in Philadelphia with some really amazing producers. And she was, I'm like, the fuck? They're holding this back? Why are they holding this back? And then one of those very songs that I was blown away with that I heard her writing and recording ended up on a Beyonce album. And I was like, oh, that's why. And so when I saw the elevator, I already knew. Like, I knew what was going on. Everyone knew what was going on. And let's not forget, this is all in the era of Kathy White.
Ooh.
There was a lot of upset and upheaval at that time. You know, with Sean Carter still ripping Beyonce completely away from Matthew, which of course changed the power structure of how money was moved around.
Of course, it changed everything.
And Solange was a steady piggy bank for them. Her records always made money.
Now, let me add this. Is it also that Beyonce is just more controllable?
Absolutely.
Because Solange does not. I don't know Solange's zodiac, but she does not give controllable at all.
Oh no, not at all. Not at all. She will not play that game, and you can't get her to do it. But she's like with me and my sister Lachelle. Like, I was the baby sister, but I was always her big sister. And I think it's always been that way between Solange and Beyonce. And even if you hear the stories about, you know, Beyonce talking about how Solange called the police because she didn't like the boyfriend, she was always fighting for her, always looking out for her.
Meanwhile, Sean Diddy Combs remains in a Brooklyn jail, awaiting trial on federal charges of trafficking and racketeering. He has pleaded not guilty to these charges, but the lawsuits against him continue to accumulate. One particularly troubling case was filed on December 20, 2024, by a woman who alleges that Combs harmed her at a New York party in 2006.
I could see why she wouldn't want to be, and I could see why she would want to have her own thing. Like, people keep forgetting, wasn't it the Proud Family? She's the one that wrote that theme song. Like, she's the talent.
She really is.
And he had the audacity to fucking call her Tito Jackson. I kicked him in his dick too.
Who called her Tito Jackson?
Fucking Sean. He fucking called Solange Tito fucking Jackson.
Wow.
I'm writing your wife's hit records, and I'm Tito. Nigga, you out your big lip monkey, and it went down.
And you know the craziest part of all that? I'm so damn silly. I said, wow, she was kicking his ass in that elevator, and that wig did not come off.
Go with it. Go.
It was just a movie.
Loving an elevator. Yes. Yes. She gave it up, baby.
Wait,
I love that moment. I still play the
It was just a going. It was just a going. Oh my God. Hilarious.
Oh my God. I hate the fact that everybody made that moment about her being jealous of him. You remember that? There was a lot of conversation. Oh, she just jealous. Oh, she just...
It was
She said
that, and then they was trying to say, oh, Jay-Z was flirting with another chick at the party they were at. So it was a couple different narratives going around at that
There
time.
wasn't nothing new. That wasn't nothing new.
Beyonce did run in the corner. Did y'all see that? Beyonce was like,
Rocking back and forth like a battered child.
she looked like a
And
kid,
then
like a kidnapped victim. Like, I'm sorry, if my siblings start popping off, I'm sorry, we gotta jump you together. I don't care who it is. We gotta stomp you together. I'm sorry.
Or at least try to break it up.
At least.
She's just like, I'm minding my business now. I don't go none of this shit. It's all I be. It's all I want. She started singing these little tears.
Oh, they said Beyonce was high. Was she high? Did Beyonce be getting high?
You heard what Uncle Ron said. Forget what I said. You heard what Uncle Ron said. You heard what a lot of other people done said.
And there you have it. Yet another industry insider with the same story of what happened on that elevator. So, fuck to the ones in the back. Solange was the mastermind behind Beyonce's career. I'm not gonna say she wrote all of Beyonce's songs, but she wrote a whole lot of Beyonce songs.